Hello, kings and queens. Welcome back to Mini Ray Motivations. I know it's been a while since my last video, but I am back in full effect. And today, I would like to discuss a topic that is very controversial, and that is that of religion. And I just want to give my personal story of Christianity, growing up in Christianity, and to tell why today I no longer practice any religion or go to church. So I'm just going to jump right into it. I don't want to go into too much details. I don't want it to be a very long video, but just want to prompt somebody to think in a different perspective on the way you can live your life. So here we go. So growing up, since from being an infant until my early adult years, I was a certified legitimate church girl. Like all of my time, my spare time, was spent in church. At least twice a week, I was in church. In the beginning, it was because that's the way my parents raised me. I was involved in everything that you could be involved in church. I was a part of the choir. I led songs. I was a part of the dance team. I helped with the youth ministry. I helped clean the church. I was an usher. Any skits or plays or speeches, I did all of that. I did poetry in church. So I was very heavily involved in I tried my very best to fit this mold that was being sculpted for me. I tried my very best to be the type of woman that I was told that God wanted me to be. And even though I grew up in this culture or this religion, I always felt just in my heart that this just wasn't me. It felt like going into a store and trying on a dress that somebody else picked out for me. And they say it looked nice, but it doesn't feel good on me. But because they said it looked nice, I brought it. Just an analogy of how I felt. I knew that this was not authentically me, but I felt like this is what I was supposed to be doing because this is what they're telling me. And I know people say your parents wouldn't tell you anything to hurt you, so I'm like, this has to be right. My understanding has to be wrong because I'm still a child, I'm still learning, so I'm just going to do what they're telling me to do. And I believed everything that was taught to me, the basic instructions before leaving earth. I believed it without any doubts in the beginning, and I believed it so much I was telling it to my friends because I believed if you didn't live a certain way that you would go to hell and you would burn for eternity. I didn't want to burn, nor did I want my friends to burn. So everything that they would ask me, any conversation, I inserted a scripture because I thought that's what I was supposed to do. I'm a Christian. I'm a follower of Christ. Any opportunity I get, I have to say something about Christ. So that is what I did for a very long time. And I had always had this doubt. I always had questions, but Christianity teaches you to not lean into your own understanding. So I was convinced that the way that I was thinking was wrong. That I was not supposed to be having these questions. I wasn't supposed to have this doubt. I wasn't supposed to ask why or how or when and what if and stuff like that. I was just supposed to just believe what the preacher was saying and read and not associate with people that were different than me because that's evil communication. Evil communication corrupts good manners, is what I was told. So I just basically was just following or just living my life the way I was told to live it and trying to be this person that I was told I was supposed to be. I was a Christian because I was told that I was a Christian. Now, I believed in Jesus Christ because they told me I'm supposed to believe in Jesus Christ. As for me and my house, we're going to serve the Lord. So that is what I did by force. I never had an option. I never had the opportunity to become my own self. It was a road already set for me, and either I was going to follow it or I guess I have to get out the house. I don't know how that works. Just like just things that would happen when I was younger, and I never really understood why, but I always felt like if I asked a question, I would get in trouble, like me being upset. I would get mad, and my mom would be like, you need to go in there and pray that spirit off of you. And I'll just be in my head, like, so being angry isn't okay. Like, this is a normal reaction to when things happen to you, you get upset, but all of a sudden I'm possessed because I'm mad. Like, I just felt in my heart and in my head that living life should not be this difficult. Like, it should not be so hard to be a good person and to share love with other people. I really feel like the way that you're telling me to be is wrong. Like it cannot be this difficult to have a heart of love and to share that love with other people. But of course, I never said that. But now we just went on through life, following the instructions of the Bible as I've been told. And I feel like college actually saved my life in a way, because college is the first place that I was allowed to make my own decisions, because before then I followed directions to the T. Like if I was told to do something, I did exactly the way I was told to do it. So it hindered me because I followed directions so well. When it came time for me to be my own person, I had no idea how to make a decision on my own without asking somebody. So getting to college and having the choice to take a class that studies the Bible as just a book of literature was life changing to me, because when I got into that class and it wasn't so deep and so spiritual, it was just, this is the book, this is what the book says, what do you feel about it? And I feel like just being able to ask my questions that I've been having for years, maybe being able to ask those questions and receive an honest answer outside of holiness, just a person talking to a person, answering my questions that I had about Christianity and the story of Jesus Christ and God and the do's and the don'ts, that helped me to realize that the things that I was being taught to feel and taught to believe, I honestly, within myself, I did not believe those things. I did not agree with the majority of the things that I was being taught my entire life. I came to the realization that I don't have a problem with people loving who they want to love. I don't have a problem with people looking different, as long as your energy is positive and you can still impart wisdom into my life. And just taking that class just let me see that everybody doesn't look the same, but you can still have the same love for God. And just because they're not in a suit and they don't have a title doesn't mean that they can't teach you something positive. So that is what college did for me. I'm just following along with my notes to make sure that I don't, ramble too much, because I really have a lot to say about this topic. But for the sake of time and your attention, I'll shorten it down for y'all. And just college and taking that class, and then it helped me to embrace my truth, and it helped me to have the courage to say, I am going to do something different. My walk with Christ is going to be different than the one that my family gave to me. And that is what I was really afraid of, was the backlash from my family, because we are a church going family. All of our events and stuff, weddings, baby showers, all that happens at church. So for me, and for them seeing me in church all those years, seeing me, worshiping God and crying and shouting, and me being so heavily involved in church, for them to see me no longer do those things, I knew that it would be a big shocker. So that was my battle. Like, okay, I had to make the choice that I don't care what they think. I don't care what anyone thinks. That this is my relationship with God, has to do with me and God. I can't walk around trying to please my family and do what they want me to do, when on the inside, I'm not happy. I don't feel like I'm being myself. So that was the biggest issue for me, was to go against what my family had taught me all those years, and to pursue a personal relationship, because I didn't feel like I didn't have a personal relationship. I had a family relationship. I had a tradition, just doing what I always did, but it wasn't anything personal to me. So at this point in my life, whenever I tell people I'm not a Christian, they automatically assume that I mean I am an atheist, which that's not what I said. It's not what I mean. I am not a Christian means I do not practice Christianity. I'm not a follower of Jesus Christ, but I do believe that there is a God. Now, what I do not believe is that this God is concerned with what my title is, or what denomination I'm with, or what day I go to church, or how my worship looks. I do not. You know how many denominations there are within Christianity? You have the Presbyterians, you have the Methodists, you have the Baptists, you have Kojic, and so many other ones. It's like God does not care about that, and He doesn't care whether you go to church on a Sunday or a Saturday, or if your suit is tailor made, or how much money you give to the church. They haven't even put a doorknob on the church, but you keep giving your gas money to the church. I just believe in my heart that that is not important to God. That's something that we came up with. Um, just to keep the churches going. Like church is a business. It's just like school. It's a business. They have to keep their lights on, the water running, and all of that stuff. So I feel like all of the BS that comes with church is not necessary to have a relationship with God. I don't have to go to church every Sunday to pray or to hear from God. I don't have to be in nobody's church giving no money to pastor appreciation or going to the cookouts. I don't have to do none of that to have a relationship with God. That doesn't define my relationship with God. And who I am as a person defines that for me. If I am a good-hearted person and I'm doing right by people, I really don't feel like it matters whether I believe that Jesus Christ is born of a virgin, or whether I believe that a little boy named David threw a rock at a giant and he died from a rock, or whether I believe that there were 3 men in the fire and they didn't get burned because God should. I don't believe that it's necessary for me to believe those stories in order for me to have a relationship with God, because ultimately they're just stories. They're just stories. It's just a book that somebody wrote. Somebody wrote that. So in order for me to love God and to feel a relationship and to hear from God, I don't feel like it's necessary for me to week after week follow this tradition made by man, given from slave owners, for me to keep worshiping a God that was given to me in order for me to be a positive person and to impart wisdom on somebody else's life. That's just how I currently feel right now in my life. And just the few things that I have an issue with in the churches, that Christians, when I've had this conversation with them, that they say that God is a jealous God. And they say God makes no mistakes, but in the Bible it says that at one point God regretted making man. So that right there, making man was a mistake because he regretted us. And God is a jealous God, but yet jealousy for us is a sin. That's a contradiction. And things such as different cultures of things such as voodoo, magic, that's witchcraft. But you're telling me that Jesus Christ can spit in dirt, create mud, put it on somebody's eyes, and they can see. And he can turn water into wine, and he can make bread fall from the sky. He can make a cripple walk. But that's not magic. Like God, Jesus was the greatest magician ever. Nobody has beaten him at that. He can walk on water. Like, that's magic. That's the same thing. So just so many contradictions within the teachings of Christianity and the teachings of Jesus Christ that I just can't rock with no more. Like, that's just personally, it's just, there's so many unanswered questions, and when you ask people that's supposed to know, they don't know. I really feel like the power of belief is so strong in religion that they don't even want to know. It's like, don't tell me that what I've been teaching and what I went to theology school for, what I got my degree in, and my titles, and what I dress up every Sunday. Don't tell me this is not real, because I put so much effort into this. Don't tell me it's not what I think it is. The power of belief is crazy. Like, it really is. And I just feel like religion, as a black woman, I feel like if you're religious, there's no room for culture. Like, there's no room for my heritage if I'm going to be a Christian, because my heritage tells me that I'm a god, I'm a goddess. And I feel like if we were made in God's image, that means I'm a god too. But in Christianity, they'll tell you that's blasphemous. There's no other god outside of Jesus' dad. And that's confusing too. It's like God, Jesus, and the Holy Spirit, they're all one entity, but they're separate. That's too confusing. Why does it have to be so deep? Like, I just want to pray to this God and have him hear me, and he answers me. I want to love everybody. I don't have no restrictions on who I can love, who can receive me. If your arms and your mind is open, I can love on you. I don't want to feel like because you're homosexual, or because you have tattoos, or because you have piercings, that you're gonna corrupt me, that I can't share the love of God with you. And I feel like that's a lot. That's really a reason why a lot of young people are leaving the church or don't go to the church, because they're so stuck in that one mindset that you have to look this way and sound this way, or you can't sit with us, so to speak. It's like nobody is trying to work outside of the four walls of church. But the whole point of Christianity is to spread the love of God. But I feel like Christianity spreads judgment. Christianity says, unless you look like this, unless you sound like this, you can't make it into my heaven. And I have my own. I'm still trying to figure out exactly what I believe about the afterlife, but I don't believe that there is a hell, because even using the Bible again, it says that God created the heavens and the earth. It never said He created hell. So where did hell come from? Even when He kicked Lucifer out of heaven, He didn't make him go to hell. He kicked him on earth. So is earth the hell? Like it's so many questions. So many questions and so little answers within the church. And I just feel like this is not, well, maybe this is to make you, I'm lying. I really want you, if you are a Christian or whatever religion you practice, to think about it. Are you going to church because you honestly want to go to church? Or is it something you always done? Or do you believe in your heart that the way that you're living, or the church is helping you be a better person? Because I don't feel like that church helped me be a better person. I feel like the church, or just who I was around, was making me into who they thought I should be, what a woman in me looked like to them. And that just wasn't working for me anymore. I wanted to be myself, the authentic Minnie Ray. As y'all know me, I wanted to be myself at the core. I didn't want to leave church feeling empty, or feeling like a bunch of energy was used up, but I still feel lost. I still feel the same way. And just me going out and searching my heritage and culture out before Christianity, because I know a lot of Christians have a problem with people saying that the Bible was given to us, but it was. And that's really a valid point. Like, we were not allowed to read any books at all as slaves. The one book that was read to us was the Bible, and it was for control. The Bible was used to control our minds, to give us an image to worship, so that we would more respect our slave owners, so that we would think, okay, if the person that created us is white, then surely being a good slave is what I'm supposed to be doing. So just in my personal opinion, people that are so religious and everything has to be in the scripture, I feel like you are a slave in a way. Like, your mind, you're not free. Your mind is captivated on these stories, and there's so much other knowledge. Like, I desperately want to know my heritage as it was in Africa, wherever I'm from. I want to know what they believed and how they operated day in and day out. I want to know, before slavery, what were black women doing? Because I don't even know how to sum this up. It's just, I feel like religion is a new form of slavery for black people, and it is stopping us from opening our minds to truth. And I know everybody's truth is different, but some truths are infallible. That this book was given to us, and even in the book, in the Bible, somewhere in Genesis, I think, it agrees with slavery. So a God of love, or whatever, was okay with us being slaves. How could that be? So if He was okay with us being in chains, He's okay with us being enslaved by the government and by religion now. Like, it's just so many questions, and that's just my story, half of my story. It's not all of it. That's just half, a little snippet of my life growing up in Christianity, and then in adulthood, and me now as a black woman searching and still searching for who I am and becoming who God created me to be, and finding out who God is to me. and just molding my relationship outside of religion. I don't have time for organized religion. I want to know God for myself. I still pray. I write to God still, as I did when I was a young girl. I still write to God, but I want to know God for myself. I want a relationship outside of these stories. So that is my mini motivation or my mini education for you today. And I will urge anybody watching this, if you are a Christian or whatever religion you practice, to really search your soul and to really be honest with yourself and say, am I doing this because this feels right to me? Is this in my heart? Is this really what I feel like I'm supposed to be doing? Or am I doing this because it's traditional? Because this is how it's always been done. If it is, leave the church. Like, it is okay to walk away from what is not right for you. It's okay to become your own person. You do not have to live for anybody else but yourself. You live with you every day. It is about you and how you get along every day. So, y'all, kings and queens, have a good day. Adjust your crowns and y'all be easy. I love y'all and I'll see y'all next time.